Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video and would like to receive notifications of my future video postings, please subscribe. As I have mentioned in previous video, the wok has many functions, and one of its function is to use as a fryer. When I was growing up, frying tofu is probably one of the most common food ingredients being fried in the wok. I have not used the wok as a fryer very much, but as one of the viewers has pointed out, the wok is great to use as a fryer. Because of the bowl-shaped structure of the wok, you actually able to conserve oil in using the wok as a fryer. Furthermore, it is highly scalable. By putting more oil in it, you can fry a larger quantity of food ingredients. I never fry food very much in the wok. First of all, it's for the health reasons. And secondly, I also do not like fried food as much as other people because I find them too oily. However, recently, my son said to me he had some fried chicken wing at a bar, and he didn't really like it because the chicken wing is very lightly breaded. He then asked me would I be able to do the same thing. So I look upon it as a challenge. I decided I'm going to give it a try. I also decided it would be good for me to post this video to show you how to fry food ingredients in the wok, mostly as a proof of principle. So the other day when I was at the supermarket, I saw some chicken wing on sale, so I bought a package which is about 3 pounds of chicken wings. Now I have never done this kind of frying before, but based on what I understand the principle of it, I use one of my templates, which is a shallow frying template to fry the chicken wings. Shallow frying is a technique for frying food ingredients. Unlike deep frying, shallow frying, you just put in about enough oil to cover mainly the bottom of the frying utensil. You do not have to cover all the food ingredients because you will be turning them as they fry. The wok seems to be perfect for shallow frying. So the first thing I need to do is to take the different segments of the chicken wing apart. Now for those of you who are not experienced in cutting chicken wings, it is a very easy way to cut them apart. As a biologist, I know the chicken wings are joined together by a joint. At that particular portion, they are mainly tendon, which could be easily cut through by a knife. It would be far more difficult if you try to chop through the bones. The next step is for me to create a breading to bread the chicken wing for frying. Most people, when they do frying, they bread the food ingredients with flour. For my purpose, I'm going to bread the chicken wing with cornstarch instead. Since I'm going to bread the chicken wing lightly, so I do not need a lot of cornstarch. I only need about 6 tablespoons of cornstarch. Next, I'm going to add seasoning to the cornstarch. I want the chicken wing to take on a light and complex flavor, so you can eat it without using a dipping sauce. So the first seasoning I'm going to use is lemon pepper, because lemon pepper contains some salt, and the lemony flavor really goes well with chicken. Onion flake is excellent for increased savory of the chicken wing. The garlic powder serves essentially the same purpose to provide some umami flavor. Next, I'm going to add a touch of paprika. It is not to make the chicken wings spicy, but to make them more interesting in flavor. And I use the cumin basically for the same purpose, to enhance the complexity of the flavor of the chicken wing. The same is true for adding a touch of ginger powder. Next, I'm going to mix everything well with a spatula. I would like to point out to you that this is a good example of flavor chasing, which is one of the attributes of my fast cooking system. Again, I think it is important for you to feel free to substitute any of the seasoning components to create something of your personal preference. To me, this is the most important aspect of home cooking because you can dictate what your seasoning, what your taste based on what you like. And for me, this is the reason why template-based cooking is much better than recipes-based cooking because it gives you a lot of latitude to make changes and modifications. So next, I use a pair of tongs, and to coat each piece of chicken, I coat them very lightly, as you can see in here. So okay, now everything is ready. I'm going to start frying the chicken wings. For this demonstration, I'm going to use my Cuisine Art 14-inch stainless steel wok. I'm going to use about 1 cup of canola oil. As you can see that because this is a shallow frying technique, I do not need to add a whole lot of oil. The ideal temperature for frying is about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So I have a infrared thermometer, which is really useful for me to test the temperature of the oil. Another low-tech way to do this is that to use a wooden stick. Once you put the wooden stick into the oil, if the oil starts to bubble around the wooden stick, and you know the temperature is hot enough. I use a pair of long metal tongs to put each piece of chicken into the wok. The tong is really helpful, and they're relatively expensive. You should pick one up. As you can tell, as the method described is called shallow frying, because the oil do not cover the entirety of the food ingredients. Because of this reason, you need to periodically turn the food ingredients so that all sides are being fried. It is obviously less convenient if you have a deep fryer. You can just put everything like in a fry basket and put it into it. But I like this method better because it gives me a better monitoring of the progress of the frying. So as the frying comes along, I use a digital thermometer to check the inside temperature of the chicken wing. I want to have the chicken wing the interior temperature somewhere between 170 to 185 degrees Fahrenheit. This will ensure the inside of the chicken is well cooked. Now again, do you really need this high-tech piece of equipment? And honestly, you really don't. Because you can tell by the outside of the chicken, you want the breading to become golden brown. However, the digital temperature thermometer is really useful if you want to have a precise temperature calibration of the food ingredients. For the purpose of the chicken wing, it is really not important. Nevertheless, it is good for me to check the temperature. And now I know with this appearance by the golden color of the chicken wing, I know the inside is done. So now the chicken wing is done. So the ultimate is that how does it taste? First of all, the breading works out really well because it is very crispy, and the cornstarch has this property in create very crisp texture. For me and my wife, the flavor is wonderful. I like the complex flavor that are produced by the seasoning that I've added to the breading. Since I cook this for my son, so the most important thing is that for him to taste it and let him decide how it is like in compare to the chicken wing that he had the other day. He bite into the chicken wing. The first thing he said, the texture is wonderful. It is lightly breaded, it's not too heavy, but it is really crispy. However, the next thing he said, I need some barbecue sauce to go with it. So for me, the seasoning of the chicken wing to create this complex flavor without a dipping sauce is not quite successful, at least from his perspective. Well, I guess you win some and lose some. So I asked my son, what could I change in terms of the flavor of the chicken wing that he could have it just by itself? He then told me that no, nothing you could change because I just like barbecue sauce. However, for my wife and myself, we really like this chicken wing and we really like the flavor, and we probably will do it again, but maybe a month or so later. So from my standpoint, home cooking is all about diversity and variations because that's what makes your cooking interesting and that will keep you cooking. Having this template in your repertoire probably will be something good for you to use once in a while. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like icon below because that will help me to broaden my audience base. I'm posting video on a regular basis, usually about one every day. And if you'd like to receive notifications of my future video postings, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. See you next time.